So here's some info you probably already know. The Digitakt does not have a song mode, and it makes sense because if it did, it'd probably cannibalize the sales of the Octatrack a bit too much. But what the Digitakt does have is pattern chaining. So let's break that down a little. Okay, so you have 8 banks, right? And in each bank, you have 16 patterns. So a pattern chain can actually be a maximum of 64 patterns. Cool, you with me so far? So when I make a song, I like using 8-bar patterns rather than 4-bar patterns, which are on the Diggy, aka 128 steps versus 64 steps. So what this means is that since the Digitakt's patterns are only 64 steps and I need 128 steps, I'm technically going to need to be playing each pattern twice, and I make good use of the trig condition 1/2 or 1:2, which sets the trigger to play once out of every 2. I covered all the trig conditions in a video like this one in case you're interested, but that's a matter for a different time. So my maximum pattern chain of 64 patterns per chain, I think will effectively get cut into half of just 32 patterns max per chain because I need to play each pattern twice. Okay, so I just checked the MPC on some of the songs that I've already been making on there, and on average I use about 17 to 21 parts, or I guess pattern chain segments in my songs. The songs that I make on there, that's how many parts I use. So just to be safe, we'll just say 21, which is awesome, is how many parts I need, which actually ends up working out great because I now, with the way that I like to make songs, have a max of 32 patterns, right? And I only need 21 at the most. That's about like a 5-minute and 40-second song at around 120 to 124 BPM. So my songs are usually about 4 minutes 20 seconds to 6 minutes. I do have a random 24-minute track, but nobody needs to hear that. So if this paper makes any sense to you, I technically think this will work as a song mode for me in the way that I like to make music. But this doesn't mean that this is the end-all be-all song mode on a Diggy. There are definitely some pitfalls when it comes to using this method, so let's check those out right now. One issue you might run into is that in order to start the pattern chain, you need to press pattern and the first pattern you want and then enter in the chain from here on out. But the problem here is that you can't press the first pattern twice, which is what I need to get my 8 bars that I mentioned earlier. So the workaround that I've been using for this is I'll go to a random pattern, let's say 16, function, and set its length to as little as possible, which is 2. Don't know why it's not 1, it's 2, doesn't matter, let's get over it. So sure, this takes away pattern 16 and only leaves me 15 patterns to make a song, but that is more than enough for me to make a song. So the cool thing here is now with pattern 16 set to just 2 steps, I can say pattern 16 and now enter in my chain, which will be boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. You'll see your chain kind of build up at the top right here, which is cool, but it doesn't show you where you're currently at. So Electron, if you're watching, let that kind of scroll to see where we're at. Otherwise, we have to keep this all in our head. Let that go. We're playing the chain, starts on 16. Check this out. Switches to 1, then pattern 2, and pattern 3. Right? A little thing. Now pattern 4. Easy, right? So with that, there's still one more thing that kind of sucks. So here's the big "this super sucks, why the hell did you make this video, Enrique" moment. It's that you cannot save pattern chains. They don't save in the bank. They don't save in the project. Even when you turn off your machine and turn it back on, your pattern chain is gone. So you're probably wondering, Enrique, why the hell did you make this video? Well, for me, with the arrival of Overbridge 2.0, this is an awesome and easy solution for me to get the song out of the Digitakt into my DAW or into a recorder and not have to worry about the changing of patterns on time and keeping everything moving. I can just let the Digitakt run and I can focus on messing around with effects or changing some synth parameters while the Digitakt does its thing and sequences everything else. Cool, so I hope you learned something from this video or possibly sparked an idea of some sort within you. If it did, I'd greatly appreciate the support with a thumbs up and possibly a subscribe if you want to see more content like this. But with all that out of the way, I'll see y'all next week, and you know the drill, and that's to share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.